Today we're getting into the latest tech, EV, and Tesla news, including Tesla's huge holiday update, the standard Model 3 launching in Europe, Netflix buying HBO, Apple going back to Intel, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, Tesla is always shipping new features to their cars, and it's one of the coolest parts about owning a Tesla. At this point, many different electric vehicles in particular have the ability to get over-the-air software updates, but most legacy automakers aren't actually pushing out new features, they're kind of just fixing things. However, over at Tesla and others like Rivian, we do get new updates through the year, and Tesla makes a tradition of making their holiday update every year with a bunch of new features. This year, there's a mix of very helpful things and some just fun things. Tesla posted about this on X, saying 2025 holiday release rolling out shortly. In it, they detail all of the main features, although I'm sure we'll discover some undocumented ones once it releases. The first one here is Grok with navigation commands, and this is a beta. Grok can now add and edit navigation destinations, becoming your personal guide. They posted an example of this within the post, and this does exactly what I've said we have wanted it to do in the past. Every time I talked about Grok arriving on a Tesla vehicle, I laid out this exact situation as something we wanted to see, so it's part of why I was disappointed when Grok arrived, and it really was just tacked onto the car. Here in this video, they lay out 3 different destinations in natural language entirely. It fully understands it and then lays all of those 3 destinations out within navigation in the car. It's really great, and this is finally a form of integration that makes a lot of sense in my opinion. It's cool to have Grok in there, but before it would actually be annoying for many because Grok is there but entirely useless as a car assistant, and then you have 2 different voice assistants you're working between with one button. Hopefully this is just the first of many integrations with Grok into the vehicle so that these voice commands get much more useful. The second feature is a fun one, Tesla Photo Booth. Quote, turn your car into a photo booth. Take selfies from inside your Tesla and give yourself a makeover with fun filters, stickers, and emojis. Share with others right from the Tesla app. I picture this as one of those features that most users use once, but it might be a fun thing long term, especially for kids and such. Also, it's cool to directly have access to the interior camera and get a function from it yourself, not just monitoring you during FSD. Next is dog mode activity. Quote, when dog mode is active, you'll see a live activity on your iPhone featuring periodic snapshots of your vehicle's cabin along with live updates on temperature, battery, and climate conditions. This is great and very reassuring for dog mode here that your dog is doing just fine in the car. Next is Dashcam Viewer Update. Dashcam clips now include additional details such as speed, steering wheel angle, and self-driving state. This is definitely cool to see these baked into the clips here. Oftentimes when people post clips of something on FSD, it's always hard to tell or impossible to truly know if they're telling the truth. But this will make it more clear, although these days you do have to be even more careful of altering for these clips. In any case, the use for the dash cam is oftentimes in an accident or anything like that, and so this gives you a lot of extra detail as evidence for what actually occurred in that situation. Next is Santa mode. Quote, Santa mode now adds festive snowmen, trees, a lock chime, and snow effects for a 3D visual treat. Basically just improving this feature that has been there for a long time, and then I believe this is arriving for the first time on the latest Model S and X. Next is a new light show. Quote, play instantly or schedule it up to 10 minutes in advance, either on a single vehicle or synced with friends. You can also control interior lighting, add display color effects, and create longer custom shows. Then we have custom wraps and license plates. Personalize your Tesla avatar with window tints, custom wraps and license plates. Use one of many preloaded designs or create and upload your own using a USB flash drive to make your vehicle unique. This is something people will enjoy, especially those that customize their vehicle a ton. They can make it match inside the car. But then comes some navigation improvements, and I'm excited to see these. Reorder your navigation favorites and set home or work by dropping a pin anywhere on the map. You can also view suggested destinations based on your recent trips and habits while parked. Then along with this comes a very cool feature, Supercharger Sitemap. Quote, you can now see a 3D view of select Tesla Superchargers by tapping View Site Map. When navigating to a pilot location, the site layout and live occupancy, available occupied down, will be displayed upon arrival. Here's what this looks like in practice. I think this might be one of the coolest features I've seen Tesla ship. You can immediately see if there is an empty space with nobody on either side of it, and especially if you're at a V2 Supercharger, that's where you want to park, not directly next to someone if you can. But you can also avoid driving over to a charger that is actually down or one with a handicap spot. It seems very, very useful here. Especially if you're on a road trip, this is one of the big questions with a supercharger stop. It will give you some info ahead of time on what that supercharger looks like, and there are even small photos on the screen, but you don't really know until you get there. But here you'll get there and immediately see the situation that you are dealing with and where you can pull in to park and charge. Next up, we have automatic HOV lanes routing. Quote, navigation now includes an option to use high occupancy vehicle carpool lanes. This was there before, but now your route will automatically select the carpool lane when eligible based on time, location, passenger count, and road restrictions. Previously, this was just a toggle on or off that you had to do manually. So this is a great feature that's very smart, and this is the kind of stuff that Tesla can do that many others can't. I no longer have to toggle this manually, and I can be much more confident that when I'm in FSD and this smart feature is now on, it will choose the HOV lane in the times that I actually can and not use it in other times. Next, we have a phone left behind chime. Quote, your vehicle will chime a few seconds after the doors close if a phone key is inside the cabin or a phone is left on the wireless charger and no occupants are detected. Phone key detection requires UWB ultra-wideband supported devices. I've done this many times, especially at home, and it's very smart to warn people here because it can definitely be risky in public areas. If you accidentally leave your phone in the car typically stays unlocked, and then someone could get in and take your phone and your car. So here you'll know before you actually get away from the car. The only restriction is it does require the latest phones and cars that have ultra-wideband. Then back to charging, we have charge limit per location. Quote, you can now save a charge limit for your current location while parked, and it will be applied automatically next time you charge there. I'm picturing that this is especially useful on road trips or certain areas where you always charge. Let's say always at home, you want to maybe be very conservative with your battery and charge up to 60%. But then once you go to work, you want to charge up to 80% because that just makes sense for your trip. It will now automatically do that at both ends. And then if there's a road trip stop you always take and stop at for a long time and you just want that to be 100%, it will be there all the time. Basically, Tesla is shipping a bunch of features here that automatically do things very smartly, so that you don't have to engage with the app or customize things on the screen. It's getting closer and closer to a vehicle that you just get inside, and it absolutely does everything for you and just works. Next up is a fun one, the SpaceX ISS docking simulator. Quote, become an astronaut and prove your skills by docking with the International Space Station. Control and guide the spacecraft in this 3D docking simulator game using a set of controls based on actual interfaces used by NASA astronauts. Of course, just a fun game here and one of those things that ties in with Elon's other companies, but I think this one will actually be quite popular. Then there are some other improvements they list. First, enable or disable wireless phone charging pads and controls. Sometimes you want to put your phone there and it's the location that makes the most sense, but much like an EV, you don't actually need to charge it. Or maybe you're already at 100% and you don't need it just sitting there charging. Maybe you like to keep your phone closer to 80 or 90% like you do an EV. This gives you a lot more flexibility there because you can put your phone there but have it not actually charge. Then add Spotify tracks to your queue right from the search screen and scroll through large Spotify playlists, albums, podcasts, audiobooks, and your library seamlessly without paging. For the Rave Cave feature, quote, take the vibes up another level with rainbow colors during Rave Cave. Accent light colors will change along with the beats of your music. And then they've added one more lock sound. Lock sound now includes light cycle from Tron mode. They say specifically for all of these features that they're available subject to vehicle hardware and region, so there will definitely be some of these features that require only the latest cars with hardware 4, and some of them that don't come to other countries. But the one big thing here that was rumored heavily for this update was Apple CarPlay, and that is not here. We have not seen Apple CarPlay or Android Auto delivered in any way in this holiday update. And for some, that's going to be very disappointing to see. I think for a lot of locked-in Tesla owners, they say, why on earth would I need Apple CarPlay? But when you're someone looking into buying a Tesla vehicle, there's already a lot of change there. And in some cases, the features there are a little lacking compared to what you can get delivered easily in basically every other car through Apple CarPlay. Now, GM is going away from CarPlay, Rivian has not enabled CarPlay and says that they never will, and Tesla may stay in the same boat here. But either way, it was something that was rumored and we have not seen get delivered. Along with this comes an update to Tesla's app, and it delivers features like follow the arrow on the location road to find your car. It will live update on that card within the app and point to your car and say how many feet away it is, as you can see right here. Overall, I think this update delivers a lot of cool and fun features, but what do you think? Is this a worthwhile holiday update or a bit disappointing because it doesn't have things like CarPlay? Leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. Next up today for cars over at Tesla, they have now launched the Model Y Standard in the UK for £41,990. Exchanging that right now, that comes in at about $56,000. And over there, it's actually a pretty good price drop compared to upgrading to the rear-wheel drive premium trim. Deliveries of this begin in January of 2026, and test drives will be available at the same time as well. Next, the Model 3 Standard has officially launched in Europe, and Tesla posted about this, saying, ultra low cost of ownership, engineered for safety, and comes with the best Tesla features you love. It's good to see these cars expanding, and I'm curious to see how sales of these trims in particular end up doing. For the Model Y Standard, we're going to kind of be able to tell, because you'll be able to notice those out on the road specifically. For the Model 3 Standard, it's a little harder to tell because it looks just like the normal Model 3. Next up today, the latest for full self-driving and the Robotaxi over at Tesla. For full self-driving, customers have received the latest versions pretty much across the board, at least if you have hardware for vehicles, and it's performing very well. I've been using it pretty consistently all around LA, routing around traffic and routing around a lot of different things, and it has been doing an incredible job for me. As such, Tesla wants people to know about this, so they are now giving the option for you to gift an FSD subscription to people. You can gift 1 month of FSD with a gift card for the Tesla shop for $112. They say gift 1 month of FSD Supervised, which allows the vehicle to drive itself almost anywhere with minimal intervention. The gift card is valued at $112 and is intended to cover the price of 1 month of FSD Supervised, including up to 13% sales tax. Overall, I think this is a good idea, and it's a way for friends to get each other to actually try out this system in the real world. I'm sure there are plenty of people that know a friend with a Tesla that doesn't use FSD and doesn't want to spend the $100 to try it out. So this is a way to give people the opportunity to try it if they already have the car, although Tesla is giving away free trials of FSD right now, so you can kind of already try it that way for free. Now for the Robotaxi specifically, the Robotaxi app is expanding its availability, even though this network only actually exists in the Bay Area of California and Austin, Texas for the time being, and both of those areas still have safety monitors. Tesla wants those to be removed by the end of the year, but we'll see if they end up meeting that deadline. In any case, this app is now available to download in Japan, Thailand, Hong Kong, South Korea, Australia, Taiwan, Macau, New Zealand, Mexico, the US, and Canada. That's a lot of countries to download this app in, so it shows where Tesla does plan to expand the Robotaxi network in time. When we saw the Robotaxi app become available to everyone, the network opened to all of those people a few weeks after that, but it's still only in those 2 original markets, so we'll see what happens here. Is this for people that are visiting the US so that they already can have this app and can get excited? Or is this a sign that these countries will actually get this capability soon? Of course, we'll have to wait and see. Now for autonomy as a whole, Tesla held an event on December 6th and 7th called The Future of Autonomy Visualized. This was in Miami, and they said this was, quote, an immersive journey inside the digital mind that guides our autopilot technology and Optimus. At this event, we can see Optimus was serving water to guests. Basically just a cool demonstration of what's going on with Optimus, but I am curious to see more updates from Tesla on the Optimus project soon. Of course, we saw that recent clip of it running, which looked quite impressive and natural, but we've also seen clips of other humanoid robots running from other companies as well. I'm mainly curious to see what is it actually doing where it's thinking for itself. Next up today, over at Tesla Energy, they have a massive $450 million Megapack system that is now operational in Victoria, Australia. The details of this are in a video posted by Victoria, and this install includes 444 Megapacks, which is 600 megawatts of capacity and 1.6 gigawatt hours of energy storage. They say that this can power 200,000 plus homes during peak demand, so this is huge for the grid in this area. This shifts energy from daytime, where they have excess solar, to the evening when there is higher demand, and overall it just helps balance everything out, make the grid cleaner, and make it cheaper. This is a cool, huge install to see, and it shows that the Tesla Megapack really is growing. At this point, it feels like the public sees Tesla as a car company, investors see Tesla as an AI company, but they have this energy business that is growing a ton that most aren't really paying too much attention to. It will be very exciting to see where this goes in the future, and it may actually end up being a big piece of the future of AI in general, powering all of these servers and everything these companies need to deliver features. Next up today over at Kia, the Kia EV2 is the company's upcoming entry-level electric SUV, and it was recently spotted with very light camouflage and gave us a clear look at the car. It's a fully electric B-segment SUV positioned below the popular EV3. It looks compact, but people say it, quote, looks and feels much bigger in person. It has a tall, blocky design reminiscent of the larger EV9 or EV5, so it still is kind of like a strong SUV, but definitely shorter. The expected price here for Europe is about 30,000 euros, which would be roughly 35,000 US dollars, making it Kia's most affordable EV yet. It's using their eGMP platform and shares similar battery options to the EV3, though the exact specs are not yet confirmed. The official debut of this is scheduled for January 9th at the Brussels Motor Show, with production beginning shortly after that at Kia's plant in Slovakia. Of course, this is an exciting EV to see, but will we ever see it in the US? That's the real question I want to know, and likely a lot of my viewers, and at this point it seems like there's probably no plan to see this in the United States. People just love their giant EV9 or larger SUVs in this country. Next up over at Apple, Apple's Senior Vice President of Hardware Technologies and the lead architect of Apple's custom chips is reportedly seriously considering leaving Apple for another company. This is huge news because we just saw the departure of Apple's head of design, as well as a couple other executives. Reportedly here, he informed Tim Cook of this decision and has told colleagues that if he leaves, he intends to join a different company. His departure would come at a very turbulent time for Apple with all of these exits, and this is especially sensitive for Apple because he's led the development of Apple's chip efforts, which have done so well, the M-series chips on their computers and the A-series chips in their phones. At this point, that's kind of critical to Apple's hardware and their future strategy overall, especially when they're kind of lacking with AI at the moment. But then comes Intel, which is very interesting, because according to a new research note from GF Securities, Intel could start supplying chips for some non-Pro iPhone models beginning around 2028. If you've been around for a while following Apple, you know that they parted ways with Intel over the last few years in favor of making their own Apple silicon. Of course, they don't actually build those chips themselves, and that's why they might be partnering with Intel here. These chips in question would be manufactured with Intel's upcoming 14A process node, and this arrangement would extend an already rumored collaboration. Intel might begin supplying entry-level M-series chips for certain Mac and iPad devices as early as mid-2027, and here they'd also be supplying certain A-series chips for their phones. Apple would still design these chips internally, but Intel would become one of their main suppliers. I'm curious to see what the reasoning here is, but part of it could have to do with tariffs. Then last up today over at Netflix, they are buying Warner Bros. Studios and all of their streaming assets, including HBO, HBO Max, their major film and TV libraries, and franchises like Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, and DC, in a massive $83 billion deal. This is a huge thing to see because Harry Potter being owned by Netflix is something you probably couldn't have imagined a decade ago. The purchase excludes certain TV networks, which will be spun off separately before the acquisition closes, and this is expected to close between late 2026 and mid-2027. So in practice, it could be up to 2 years before you actually see these apps integrating. This move massively expands Netflix's library of content and gives it a ton of control over one of Hollywood's largest IP catalogs. So it definitely strengthens Netflix's position here, but it also potentially makes them a monopoly, and that's the thing many are concerned about here. Regulators are expected to heavily scrutinize this deal due to its scale, with concerns about reduced competition and consolidation of creative control. If Netflix can control all of that, it may cause a problem for Hollywood. It's a very interesting time overall in the entertainment industry because you have Amazon now owning MGM. Here you might have Netflix owning HBO and all of Warner Brothers. What will come next? What might Apple buy? What might Meta buy? What would OpenAI buy? We'll see. That's all the latest tech, EV, and Tesla news for today. So in the meantime, if you want to see details on Tesla's new Hardware 4.1 coming to cars shortly, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.